Taiwan lawmakers exchange blows in parliament. Putin concludes China trip, emphasizing ties with Russia. Houston hit by devastating tornado. Fire burns down shopping complex in Poland's capital. Parts of northern India scorched by extreme heat. Hong Kong celebrates bamboo tower bun race.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Monday, May 20th, and here are your top stories. Lawmakers in Taiwan shoved, tackled, and hit each other in Parliament on Friday in a bitter dispute about reforms to the chamber, just days before President-elect Lai Ching-te takes office without a legislative majority. Even before votes started to be cast, some lawmakers screamed at and shoved each other outside the legislative chamber before the action moved onto the floor of Parliament itself. In chaotic scenes, lawmakers surged around the speaker's seat, some leaping over tables and pulling colleagues to the floor. Though calm soon returned, there were more scuffles in the afternoon. Lai, who is to be inaugurated on Monday, won January's election, but his Democratic Progressive Party lost its majority in Parliament.
The main opposition party, the Kuomintang, KMT, has more seats than the DPP but not enough to form a majority on its own, so it has been working with the small Taiwan People's Party, TPP, to promote their mutual ideas. The opposition wants to give Parliament greater scrutiny powers over the government, including a controversial proposal to criminalize officials who are deemed to make false statements in Parliament. The DPP says the KMT and TPP are improperly trying to force through the proposals without the customary consultation process in what the DPP calls an unconstitutional abuse of power. Lawmakers from all three parties were involved in the altercations and traded accusations about who was to blame.
Russian President Vladimir Putin concluded a two-day visit to China on Friday, emphasizing the country's burgeoning strategic ties as well as his personal relationship with Chinese leader Xi Jinping as they sought to present an alternative to U.S. global influence. Putin praised the growth in bilateral trade while touring a China-Russia expo in the northeastern city of Harbin. He met students at the Harbin Institute of Technology, which is said to work closely with the People's Liberation Army. Putin began his fifth term in power this month, and Xi began his third last year.
Mr. Putin said in a veiled reference to the West that the partnership between China and Russia is not directed against anyone. It is aimed at one thing: creating better conditions for the development of our countries and improving the well-being of the people of China and the Russian Federation. But he still had a backhanded rebuke for the U.S. and others who oppose the Moscow-Beijing relationship, saying an emerging multipolar world is now taking shape before our eyes. Both Russia and China have frequently spoken of the emerging multipolar world in response to what they view as U.S. hegemony. Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu addressed Putin's visit in an interview with the Associated Press, saying Western powers should continue to support Ukraine as part of sending a message that democracies will defend one another.
Officials assessed the damage from destructive storms in the Houston area that killed at least 7 people and knocked out power amid rising temperatures. A complex of storms with winds up to 100 miles per hour and a tornado left a trail of destruction Thursday across the Houston area that damaged multiple skyscrapers, caused a sewage spill, and triggered power outages that could stretch on for weeks amid soaring temperatures. Houston Fire Chief Samuel Pina said Thursday that at least 4 people died from the storm in Houston, including 2 killed by fallen trees and a third who died in a crane accident.
High temperatures will follow the damaging storms through the weekend and beyond, while many are without air conditioning. According to PowerOutage.us, over 366,000 customers in Harris County remain without power Saturday evening following the line of storms, down from a peak of more than 900,000. Authorities have warned that restoring power to all customers will be a lengthy process. CenterPoint Energy, the primary electrical provider in the area, said the storm system caused extensive damage to the company's transmission and distribution electric systems. Thousands of workers are being deployed to help with restoration efforts. More than 376,000 of its customers have been affected, and power was restored to more than 259,000 customers in the last 24 hours as of Saturday night.
A major fire broke out Sunday morning in a vast shopping complex in the Polish capital that housed some 1,400 shops and service outlets, and where most vendors were from Vietnam. Huge plumes of black smoke could be seen rising over the vast area. The fire department said that more than 80% of the Mielwazyka 44 shopping complex burned in the Beloleka district of Warsaw, and that the roof caved in. Police reported no injuries, but traders were in despair at the loss of their livelihoods. The Gazeta Wyborcza daily reported that some Vietnamese vendors wanted to enter to save their goods from the complex, but were blocked by security guards.
Chemical and environmental rescue specialists were among the large numbers of rescue officials who took part in the operation. Authorities sent a text message warning Warsaw residents about the fire, telling them to stay home with closed windows. Merbud, an industrial construction company listed on the Warsaw Stock Exchange, owns the shopping center. Warsaw police said it had begun investigating the blaze but hadn't yet determined the cause. The Warsaw City Administration planned on Monday to discuss financial support for the small traders whose livelihoods were destroyed. Shopping centers and large shops are usually closed on Sunday because of a ban on trade imposed by the previous government, which had close ties to the Catholic Church. However, small business owners are exempt from the ban, and many of the small shops at the center worked on Sundays.
Parts of northwest India swelter under scorching temperatures on Saturday, with the capital New Delhi under a severe weather alert as extreme temperatures strike parts of the country. India's weather department expects heat wave conditions to persist across the north for the next few days and has put several states on high alert. On Friday, parts of New Delhi reported up to 47.1 degrees Celsius. Soma Sen Roy, a scientist at the India Meteorological Department, said the nearby states of Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan also saw temperatures soar and are likely to stay high over the next few days.
Roy cautioned people against going outdoors under the afternoon sun. Drink lots of water and wear loose-fitting clothes, while those who are especially vulnerable, like the elderly, should stay indoors. The extreme temperatures in northern India coincide with a 6-week-long general election, with experts worried that the heat wave could increase health risks as people wait in long lines to cast their vote or candidates campaign aggressively in the outdoors. One minister fainted due to heat last month while addressing an election rally in Maharashtra state. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as well as his main challenger, Rahul Gandhi of the opposition Congress Party, are expected to hold rallies in New Delhi later on Saturday, as the city heads to the polls on May 25th.
Tens of thousands of people turned out last Wednesday for Hong Kong's signature Bun Festival, including a bun scrambling competition in which participants scaled a 46-foot tower and grabbed plastic buns along the way. Officials said the event drew both residents and tourists, a total of more than 51,000 visitors to the Chinese territory's outlying island of Changzhou. It took place on a public holiday marking Buddha's birthday, a holy occasion for Buddhists that is observed in multiple Asian countries and territories.
The festival is said to have begun in the late 19th century as a way to ward off disaster and pray for blessings after the tiny island was devastated by a plague outbreak. It was suspended for decades after 1978, when the Bun Tower collapsed and caused injuries, but resumed in 2005. The annual tradition was interrupted again by the pandemic, which kept Hong Kong's borders closed and social activities to a minimum for the better part of 3 years, but returned last year. At midnight on Thursday, 12 contestants raced up a bamboo tower covered with 9,000 plastic buns with different point values and bearing the Chinese characters for safe and sound. The mission was to collect as many buns as they could in 3 minutes. Yip Kin Man was crowned the Bun King with 776 points, while Bun Queen Kung Tzz Shan won the women's competition with 842 points. Both were also winners in past years.
The answer for last Friday is C, bundled. He was bundled off to boarding school. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of parts of northern India scorched by extreme heat. Number 1, swelter, 热得难受. Passengers sweltered in temperatures of over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 2, scorching, 酷热的. That race was run in scorching weather. Number 3, loose-fitting, 衣服宽松的. If you're looking for something to wear, loose-fitting clothing is always appropriate. Next, we have a multiple-choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.